Now, this is viral, and it's got 2 billion views. And it shows a person that was promoting environmental justice complain about the new executive order that the US president has signed. Let's watch.
Okay. So today I was supposed to be leading a training about environmental justice for a national agency, but it was canceled an hour before it started. Why? Well, because the new federal guidelines from the Trump administration ban not only DEI trainings, but also any trainings or programs about environmental justice. And they're not stopping there. These policies go further, rolling back protections for our water, land, opening the floodgates to drilling, silencing those that are fighting for justice in any form. And to make matters worse, they're demanding a list of contractors like me who provide DEI and environmental justice trainings. And to be honest, it's terrifying.
Right, so a lot of people are mocking her, which is easy to do. Obviously, I don't agree with her job. In fact, I think that her job is detrimental to the economic safety of a nation. We notice how in Canada, people are complaining about food security. The number is rising. We notice the living standard across the Western world is dropping rather than increasing. And worst of all, we notice that our competitors who are not applying these policies are seeming to be doing better on a lot of metrics. And so these policies are harmful, and as such, they should not be implemented. And therefore, like, the jobs that people are doing in order to try and promote these policies have to be rendered redundant. So I'm not upset about what's happening to her. Like what's happening to her is what people like her wanted to happen to the coal miners. And when the coal miners were crying and they were upset, they were told to learn to code by their betters. And, you know, the coal miners, using their spite, the power of spite and animosity, they voted for someone like Donald Trump. And so, I wonder if we can avoid repeating that. And I'm not the type of person that moralizes and tell others what to do. I mean, if you want to meme on this lady and you want to, you know, make a negative comment under the Timcast news here, like, which is what 90% of the people are doing, you know, I'm not going to stop you. Like, if that's what gives you some pleasure in your life, I mean, feel free to do so. I personally will not. And the reason I won't is because of the way I was raised. You see, I was raised with a very cringe gamer mentality that you need to be humble in victory and graceful in defeat. And so, from my point of view, we won. Like, we got what we wanted, right? Trump is in office, he's signing the executive orders, he's going against DEI. Obviously, the pressure should continue for, like, DEI to be rendered as a reactionary, old, outdated ideology. But at the same time, you know, if I see an individual that's in distress, I don't know anything about this lady. Like maybe she's actually a good person, maybe she has kids at home. And so, like, why would I be mean to her? Especially when you realize that it's not one lady. Like, we're talking about tens of thousands of people that are going to be out of a job, right? So, like, the question is, like, what do you do with them? Because they're going to have a lot of spite and animosity. And I think, like, the first thing that needs to be done is to properly channel that spite and animosity towards the people that did this to them. Because the reality is, if you're a young adult and you're impressionable and you want to go to a university, and so, you know, one of the opportunities is to go to a gender study and you're promised that you're going to have a nice job, and you take that, well, the problem is that the university lied to you, right? Like, you put your trust into an expert, into an academic, into a person that was supposed to know better, and you gave them money, and they lied to you. They brainwashed you. They introduced you into an ideology that was harmful also for you, but for the nation as a state. And so what ends up happening is now your life is entirely locked into that. You're never going to get those years back. You're never going to be young again and respecialize and learn a new trade. You're never going to be able to get the money again to go to a new university. Like, your entire life is fucked. And the people responsible for it were the academics, the university professors, the activists, the journalists that told you that it's a good idea to go into this ideology that they also promoted And they said that it's the ideology of the future and that it's going to make the world better. And that's where the spite and the animosity has to be channeled. Because it's not Donald Trump that did this to you. It's not the evil Republicans. It was just the inevitability. Like, if your policies are leading the world to a worse place, if people are noticing that their living standards are going down, that their streets aren't safe anymore, and the only way to keep this going is with censorship, with lying and gaslighting, with threatening them that they're going to be fired, it's not sustainable. Like, eventually the people are going to rebel, and the way they rebelled is by voting Donald Trump. But make no mistake, if it wasn't Donald Trump, it would be someone else. And so the problem was the ideology itself and the people that promoted it and sold it to you. Which, again, the university professors, the activists, the journalists, all of them. That's where we need to direct these people that are getting fired from diversity. That's where we need to direct their problems towards. Those university professors made a lot of money in grifting. They made a lot of cash ruining your future. And make no mistake, like, their future is ruined. Like, making loans to go to universities and learning a skill that is not just not needed, but it's going to be considered harmful. You know, try going to China and use that skill. See how that works. Try going to India and use your skill. See how it works. Meanwhile, if you're a plumber, you can go in any nation on earth and you can find a place for yourself. You know, if you're a doctor, you can go to any nation on earth and you're going to find a position. But if you're a DEI expert outside the Western world, everyone will tell you to fuck off. You know what is going to pay for that? And now the Western world might not pay as well. So that is step one. The other step is that I genuinely looked to see what happened in Romania, because we had communism and we had political activists as well, like people that were shilling communism. And the question is, like, what happened after communism fell? And what happened to those people? Because again, like, we're talking about thousands of people. And to my surprise, they reoriented. Like, there was this lady at the University of Economics, and she was like an incredibly strong believer in communism, so much so that she would rat students that had like counter-revolutionary ideas, or students that were complaining that they're not getting enough hot water and electricity when we were living in the times of plenty. And like any deviation, she would rat out, she would snitch. And so, like, once the regime fell and communism fell, she just reoriented. She just changed the subject matter. And now she was promoting capitalism. She was talking about the importance of free speech, about holding politicians accountable, about the rights that citizens have. And the moral of the story is that people who are good ideologues, they make excellent counter-ideologues as well. And so what this lady, well, not this lady, like what people that are affected by the DEI layoffs can do is to start writing anti-DEI takes. Like, use their knowledge, their tactics to start writing for the opposite team. Like, it has been done in history many times. I know this in Romania as well. Like, there were many poets and many people that were writing anti-communist rhetoric. And then communism came here, brought to us by the Red Army, and all of a sudden, the same people would write incredibly persuasive communist arguments. And so, like, you know, don't despair. Like, you still have a skill. Like, your skill is to reinforce ideology. Well, reinforce a different ideology. Try one that's not so reactionary and doesn't cause the nation state to crumble. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.